So at this time, I would like to bring up and welcome, let's see, flip through my page here, Dr. Marcela Para from Metro State University. She's an equity specialist coordinator, and she's going to talk a little bit about a report that she compiled for our district. So welcome, Marcela.
Buenos días, good morning. Miranda, felicidades a ti, a tu familia, a tu mamá, a todos. Congratulations. Tough act to follow, let me tell you. So actually I'm here to give the survey results. Raise your hand if you guys know what survey I'm talking about. All right, so I've had several of you approach me in different venues such as conferences and meetings, like when we were gonna get the results. So it was a long and tedious process, as all of you are fully aware of. So I'm here to give you a very short, condensed snapshot of the results. I do want to let you know, however, that we did print and donate 50 copies of the report to the school district, so I hope they've been distributed. And if not, we also provided PDF files, and that should also be made available to you via your website. And if not, you can just email me directly and I can send you the PDF file as well. So if you have any questions, since we're kind of in a time crunch for time, just wait till the end and I'll be happy to answer any of them and all of them if I can. So having said that, remember, don't kill the messenger. Just kidding, it's not bad. All right, so my PowerPoint should be up somewhere. Oh, good. You can see it, but I can't, right? Boom. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be. So I used to teach 6th grade, so I really roamed the room and I can't break that habit. So first of all, let's just do a quick overview. How does this move? Is it not working, or am I not working? Okay, so this is just, and I don't remember which button I pressed. So overall, we surveyed 7,151 participants. So that was a large number. Okay, no, that one. All righty. So we had a really low turnout with the parents, which was unfortunate because that was the targeted demographic for OCR and the school district. We had a good turnout of students, of course. We held them captive and said, we won't feed you until you do the survey. So then the total staff, we got full participation on all the staff, every level, classified, tech support, administrators, and teachers. Some of the very big key findings, big snapshot here. Can I take this off and walk around? Bullying is a major problem at the school, reported by every stakeholder, the parents, the teachers, the students themselves, the previous administration, and classified and staff. And bullying does not just exist in the student population. It exists among the ranks of the adult employees of the district. It exists at the classified level. It exists at the teacher level. It exists in the administrator level. So bullying in any institution is very fluid and is very constant, and it's there. And there's different types of bullying, and we can go into all that later. In the second grade, a large majority of the Spanish-speaking students were told to speak only English. But from what I can tell, that is changing, so congratulations, and we like that, we appreciate that. Am I not pointing it to the right place? Okay, so classified tech and tech staff reported that they were harassed and manipulated because of their race and for being an English-only speaker. So this was a trend that emerged in the survey, meaning that non-English speakers, whether of the white majority or not, they felt that they were being marginalized because of their non-English, non-Spanish-speaking status. Teachers also reported that student bullying is a major concern among their classroom and their grade levels. So this is just a snapshot of everybody. Teachers also self-identified as white also felt a lack of support. from the district. Now, let me just remind everybody, this does not reflect this present leadership. It reflects the previous one. So that is changing, I'm sure. Administrators are concerned about prevalence of student bullying, again, and this is the norm across the nation. Unfortunately, we're seeing a high rise in trend, but there's also an over-identification of bullying. That seems to be the buzzword, right? On social media, the buzzword is mindfulness, right? In school, it's bullying, so we got to figure out what bullying really is, and we offer free training for that. So administrators reported that many times they are uncomfortable working with non-English speaking parents because of the language barrier. And we understand that, but there are systems in place to help you communicate that. There are translators and interpreters. So we will work with the district, or the district will work with you as administrators to change that level of uncomfortness. Also, administrators reported that they fear retaliation by the district should they report or have some sort of grievance or complaint. So, you know, these, and I apologize, the charts are way too small. You probably can't see them, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go over it, a little bit of them. So the sense of belonging for the kinder through second grade, overall findings were very good. They all felt safe in their school. They felt they were treated well and respected by their teachers. They felt a sense of belonging. The ELL students felt they were respected by their teachers. What else? They felt their bathrooms were clean and the schools were clean. The same went for both English and Spanish, and you can see the comparative surveys there. I did not realize I was speaking to such a large crowd, so bear with me. Okay, so then also on the second, the perceptions of their school experiences for both kinder to second grade English and Spanish speakers were really high as well. But their sense of students bullying other students was at 60%, and I really hope we're on the same slide there that I'm reading. No? What's the first line there, because I can't see it? Sense of belonging. Okay, we're going to change that. The first line should read, students bullying other students. Does that say that? Oh, thank you. Well, you know what? I hate the stage. So, okay, so students bullying other students. For the English speakers, they felt that 53% of them experienced that or saw that, and they didn't like that. It was kind of comparable to the Spanish-speaking students as well, which, God, where do I press this? There. I hate technology, right? Okay. Okay, Spanish was at 60%, so a little bit higher for Spanish, 7%. That's not, numerically, it's not a big deal, but in percentage and data-wise, it truly is. So we want to lower that. Anything over 0 in bullying, in my book, is too much. So we should, and I can stand here and say 0 tolerance, but we all know it's not true. I used to teach 6th grade and coach, so yeah, I get it. So now, 3rd and 5th grade findings. This says, I need new glasses. That's what it says. So sense of belonging at school for both English and Spanish speakers, 62% at 64%. Very well, very good, but we want that higher, right? 100% ideally, but we're always going to have a margin of error, plus or minus of 3. And that only means that either -3 or +3 disagreed, right, in the surveys with that one question. So, also a sense of safety at school. They were equal as well. English was at 69, and Spanish was at 78. So Spanish was a little bit higher. So they like their school, they feel safe, and as it should be. 3rd or 5th grade findings. Teachers, this is the perception of treatment of students at school. Teachers are fair in their treatment. So English speakers felt that 74% felt that they were treated fair by the teachers, and Spanish speakers, 73%. But we got to look at the difference numbers of sometimes or don't know. So sometimes for the English speakers was at 17%. That number shouldn't be that high. Sometimes you got to read data, not the yes or no, the positive or the negative, but what you're not seeing, like the sometimes. 17% of your students feel that that they're receiving fair treatment from their teachers. That's for the English speaking. For the Spanish speaking, that's at 15%. If you combine that, it's 32%. So it kind of gives you a high number, okay? Just something to think about. Did it change? Okay, good. So this talks about students' perceptions of their school and appearance and gender issues. So and I'm just picking at random here. The appearance of their school campus for the English speakers, they strongly agreed that it was clean. 52% thought it was clean, whereas Spanish speakers thought it was 16% thought it was really clean, and 53% thought it was kind of clean. So that's a big deal, you know, how your school looks and how the students feel that their school is important. If the adults take care of their school, they'll take care of their school as well. This one, the next question was, boys and girls get to answer questions in class. 38% agreed yes, 52% agreed for the English speakers, and Spanish, it was just one or two difference. So it was 31 for yes and 51% for agree. But then you also have 5, 7, 2, and 4, total of 9% of the students. So this is an equity issue because sometimes teachers tend to favor one gender over the other. And so we don't want that. We don't want any groups marginalized. Doesn't matter how they identify. If they're questioning, then you call on them equally. You don't avoid them because they're questioning or transitioning. You don't avoid them if they're a female Spanish speaker. You don't not call on them if they're a monolingual English male. So you want to make sure that you have equitable interaction between your students. Let me see. Okay, ELL students are teased at school. English speakers said 4% strongly agreed, 14% agreed, yet 32 and 25% either disagreed or strongly disagreed. But still, that number is kind of high, so you'll have a total of 18% of the English speakers realizing that ELL students are getting teased at school. And then if you look at the Spanish results, ELL students strongly agree that ELL students get teased at school. 6% strongly agree, 15% agree, so that's a total of 21. But yet you have a higher number of disagreeing. Disagree at 30%, 22 at strongly disagree, and 12% at I don't know. So still, those numbers are a little high for teasing that, and it depends the kind of teasing that can transition into bullying. And if it transitions into bullying and it's based on their national origin, meaning their language or where they come from, like Mexico, Guatemala, or any of the countries that are represented at your school, then it becomes a civil rights issue. And then it could even transition into a hate crime. I'm not saying it is, I'm not saying it's going to, I'm just telling you to the extent where it can get. So we don't want that happening. So 6th and 8th grade students, 15%, does their school have a bullying problem? English speakers strongly agree, 15 and 27%. 23%, however, said no. The Spanish speakers were lower. Only 4% strongly agreed that there was a bullying problem, and 11% strongly agreed that there was a bullying problem. This one, I really was impressed with the results for both English and Spanish. When my family comes to school, the staff are nice to them. The English speakers, 34% strongly agreed, 43% agreed, and for Spanish speakers, 33% strongly agreed, and 44% agreed. So that's good, but you still have 5 and 8 on the Spanish, a total of 8% that disagreed, and the same number, if you combine them both for English, 8%. And the rest were, I don't know. So they're not paying attention, or they're too young to understand, or maybe the question was too abstract for them. So 9th to 12th grade findings, and this is just a breakdown of the number. We totally surveyed 1,515. People take pride in campus. Students who don't speak English are harassed at school. That was really low. 3% strongly agreed of English speakers and 5% agreed. In Spanish, 2% strongly agreed and 4% agreed. So that's good, because a lot of times that's when a really bad bullying or harassment based on national origin or language abilities happens at the high school. But I think that also our students, if they are bilingual, they are more confident and they freely speak both in English and Spanish, you know. Then they become a big bocha like me, where we're speaking Spanglish and our grandmother can just like slap our hands and tell us, what are you saying, right? So anyways, I talk too much. Students at the school are engaged in cyberbullying. There is a little trend there. English speakers agreed at 11%, strongly agreed. Spanish speakers strongly agreed at 10%. We're seeing a lot more cyberbullying happening within the Hispanic community across Colorado, because there's a lot of, you know, student-based or Spanish language forums, and there's a lot of groups that are being developed and happening. And so there's a lot of bullying that we're not aware of as adults, teachers, peers, aunts, tias, whatever it is, because the kids know about it. So we're seeing a lot of that happening, and they're getting really, really intense. Some of them are just kind of scary at times. So we had a situation in Greeley that we had to basically get permission to get into some of the students' accounts. And we don't want to have to do that anywhere again. And it was a difficult situation, but there was some really big, mean threats, physical threats happening online. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, so parent climate survey findings. This one, there we go. We only ended up surveying a total of 100 and some. These are the ones that we had done. 375 parents. And I can't even see that, so I know you guys can't. So this is what we asked. The questions were based on what information is the school giving you. So the parental right and the parents' right to know, and the whole aspect of parent engagement is very important. But the parents, the grievance and the complaint was based on lack of communication and discrimination because they were Spanish speakers. So we asked questions. Do you know the location of school district policies that prohibit discrimination and harassment? The Spanish speakers said yes, 79%, 8% no, and 12% said I don't know. So this was a survey that was either mailed to the parents or they were asked to do it during the parent-teacher conference night, and I physically would chase the parents down the hallway. Some of you may have seen me running down there trying to get them. So the biggest problem here is that you still have 16%, 20% that don't know, but the number is high. It's at 79, so we have to kind of question that, because that was one of the biggest complaints. In English, 80% said yes, and 8% said no, and 12% don't know. So the ones that we were concerned with, are you familiar with the services provided for English language learners? For the Spanish-speaking parents, 55% said yes, although 23% said no, and 21% said I don't know. So that still combined is a total of 44%. For the English-speaking parents, they for some reason scored higher. 55% knew about it, 22% didn't know about it, and 21% didn't know. So it's kind of about even there. The other question is about home language questionnaires or home language survey. 35% of the Spanish-speaking parents answered yes, they knew about it. 44% said no. So this data needs to be addressed. If the HLS or the float, I think in Colorado you use a float, correct? The primary home language other than English survey, then that has to be looked at, it has to be addressed, and it has to be reviewed. Make sure that all the parents fill that out and identify what language they're using at home. And also, another concern was the translators that the district provide. 82% of the Spanish-speaking parents were aware of it. 9% were not, and 9% didn't know. So that number is still too high. Okay, did it change? Do you know the location of the school district policies that prohibit discrimination and harassment? Do you guys know where they are? Raise your hand if you know. Do you know where to find them? Have you seen them? Have they been identified to you? Not enough hands have gone up. So ask that question. Where are these policies? Where are these grievance procedures? Where's this information? Where's my due process? And that's something that everybody should know, from the students to the administrators, to the teachers, to the parents, to the classified, to the support tech, to the staff. Everybody needs to know where that is. So when we ask the parents, do you know the location of school district policies that prohibit discrimination? The Spanish speakers said yes, and 79% yes, 8% said no, and 12% said I don't know. The English-speaking parents said yes, 8% said no, 12% said I don't know. So 80%, they're pretty much even there. Well, I'm really cleaning out the room here. Are you familiar with the services provided for English language learners? The Spanish-speaking parents, 56% of them said yes, 22% no, and 21% said I don't know. That's too much, that's too high, combined with the 22%. So you're at 43% there of Spanish-speaking parents not fully aware of your services. Have you filled out a home language survey? We got that. There. That one I'm just going to skip. So let's go on to classified tech and staff survey findings. This is the total number we surveyed. And these are some comments that I thought were important to highlight. Now, let me just remind you, this is from the previous administration, but a lot of the middle administration and middle leadership, I think, is still here. So this has a lot to do still. It's still relevant to everybody here. And you guys can read, but if you want, I can read them to you. The one that really solidified the emergent trend is the last one. The only people I have seen harassed for not speaking perfect English and having an accent are the Spanish-speaking students. They make fun of the way I pronounce the words. No one else. This is really strange because they are the ones complaining about being harassed in most cases. White staff member. And also, I understand that we all want to have a voice about confrontation, but when it was said that everyone speak up, it made coming to work very impersonal at times. People, co-workers, now think they do basically whatever they want because they have to do, all they have to do is confront the person. In the workplace, everyone is turning on each other, staff, co-workers. These select few have taken the pure joy of coming to work. We can't address issues without drivers want to file complaints, concerns, and telling how to do the job to better serve students. Hispanic staff member. So a lot of these comments are the majority, the most pertinent ones to the report are in the actual report. So you can take your time and read those. But there's still a lot of things happening. I like the second one. Much improvement has happened in the past 3 years. They need to continue the effort. So with the new leadership, all of this is changing, and we're happy to see that. So the teacher climate survey findings. This is the number of teachers we surveyed, and these are the comments. So I have been here for 25 years, and the last years, since 2008, we have endured discrimination. This has still been prevalent under our current superintendent, previous, right? Hispanic teachers have still filed grievances through the teachers union. I know of teachers who have been still have been discriminated against even in spite of OCR's findings. Female elementary teacher. I feel harassed on a daily basis. Female high school teacher. Most of the discomfort comes from gossip by administration in public places where personal business can be heard by other staff members, parents, and students. So again, I just want to remind everybody, this does not reflect the current administration. It reflects the previous one. And you guys all know how long it took us to get to it. So based on the overall recommendations, and I don't know why that last survey is not coming up. So the overall recommendation is to follow the recommendations in the report, make sure that they are in alignment with the OCR resolution agreement, review the survey finding with students, review the survey finding with your parents, review the survey findings with staff, faculty, and administrators, which we did today, provide programs such as the VEA's bullying prevention, discuss cultural expectations of the district administrators for everybody involved in the district at every level. Also, provide training information for students for the prevention of student bullying. And then also, this is the most important part, review and discuss the handbook with all your employees, with your parents, with your students, with employees of the district at every level. Make sure the due process is known to them. Make sure that they know who to talk to. Your Title IX coordinator cannot be your superintendent, cannot be your principal. You have to have a special person for that, and I believe you have one, and I can't. Do you guys know who your Title IX coordinator is? Okay, so you need to ask that question. You also need to know who you talk to should you have a civil rights issue dealing with like Title VI and Title IV, race and national origin, Lau B. Nichols, any of that. And that would be Dr. Jean Patterson, right, Jeanette? So then all the policies need to be reviewed with you and your students. Staff, faculty, and administrators' code of conduct. We all get handed a student or employee handbook. How many of you really read it? How many of you have actually read it? Okay, good, very few. How many of you found the due process and the grievance procedure in that handbook? Very few, okay. So make sure that it's there and it's up to date, because a lot with the new Secretary of Education, a lot of things are changing, but most of these are not. So the important thing is know who you can talk to, and everything should be confidential. Nothing can be released without your permission. And it won't go. Okay. All right, so provide opportunities for your parents to work with the school in their own language, provide effective family engagement and training and effective parental and family involvement. Provide training to administrators and teachers on generating expectations for student achievement, JESA. Show students, parents, and all school employees the location of the handbook on the related websites or in your office or in the library. Keep a hard copy in the library so it's accessible to everybody. Or make it into a PDF. If you guys have an app for the school, make sure it's on your app. And this is just not cooperating anymore. Oops. And there you go. I knew it was them. So, thank you. I have to apologize that it was so quick and fast, but there is the report out there and it's available to all of you. There is my contact info. Feel free to email or call. Any questions? Nope. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Parra. And everyone, let's give her a round of applause. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 20-minute break, but don't get up yet. I have some quick announcements here, okay? So the first one, how many of you like our Facebook page at the district level? All right, let's see those. If not, Put your cell phones out there. I need you to go on your Facebook, and I need you to like our district Facebook page. So if you want to know about updates, news, snow closures, natural disasters, it's going to be on Facebook, okay? So please like us on our Facebook page. I also want to encourage you to tell your parents and your community about liking our district Facebook page. Also, you can like your own school's Facebook page as well. We're always going to have updates on our website as well, so www.adams14.org. The other thing is we have the PD schedule for the week that is online. It's on the website at www.adams14.org. So if you don't know what you're doing this week, so teachers, the PD schedule's there, paraprofessionals or classified staff, the schedule's on there. There's updates because the schedule has changed, so be sure to check that out. In the letter, the welcome letter from Dr. Abrego, he mentioned 2 books that inspire him. The first one was Essential Wooden, A Lifetime of Lessons of Leaders and Leadership by James Wooden. And the second one is Mentor Leadership by Tony Dungy. So, we have a raffle. We're going to be giving away 6 books today. So if you want to just check, reach around your chair there. If you want a book, you'll have a red envelope. And whoever gets that red envelope, if you want to just raise it up there, see what it looks like. All right. We got one over here. So if you want, please come up to the front if you want a book, and we'll give those away. Just really quickly before we break, principals, Adams 14 principals, if you want to come up to the front, I just need to check in with you real quick. And let's go for a 20-minute break. We'll be back at 9:50, okay?